We're just about all here, and by the time we get around to it, I'm sure Gordon will be back also. So let's get started here. My name is Bob Dykeis. I'm co-chair of the MACC Area Coordinating Council, and this is the December 19th, 2005 meeting of the MACC Area Coordinating Council Policy Committee. We're at the Felt Mansion today, and we will get our meeting started. To note, we did have a study session ahead of this, started weekly at 10, or a little bit slow at 10:30. Sylvia Geisler was here to explain to us the study that was done in 2003 of area community needs, a community assessment, and we had discussion with that. So we had a good discussion, and I think we received some additional information enough to really lead to more questions. So we'd like to get started. We'll proceed down the agenda then, and the first thing is the introduction. So I guess I'd like to start to my right here with Sue.
Sue Higgins with MACC.
John Cravens, Allegan County Road Commission.
Dennis Myers, co-chair of the MACC.
Keith Potter, Fillmore Township.
Ed Steelstra, Laketown Township.
Al Layard, Stone Township.
Stephen Hill, Allegan County Board of Commissioners alternate.
Randy Bright, Allegan County Commissioner.
Amanda Price, Park Township.
Les Holtman, City of Zeeland.
Holland Mayor Albegian.
Terry Dienhuis, Howard Township.
Dave Vanderkoy, Ottawa County Road Commission.
George Gilmore, Ottawa County Commissioner.
Glenn Copes, Allegan County Sheriff. Susan Posick, the MACC.
Joe Vanderbilt, the MACC.
Dylan Pearls, Michigan Department of Transportation.
Steve Boltheis with the MACC.
John Robbins with the Sentinel.
Jim Bush, Fillmore Township.
Brad Swa, Zeeland Township.
John Tunison, Granite Express.
Al Prime, Holland Taxpayers.
Sarah Wade with MACC.
Okay, I think that's everyone. Thank you. We'll proceed then to approval of the minutes. You were mailed the minutes, and we have read through those. Does anyone have any corrections or any comments to make on that? Otherwise, we'd entertain a motion to approve.
So move.
Okay. Okay, it's been moved and supported to approve the minutes as printed and sent out. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Okay, we've approved the minutes. Okay, we'll move on to item number 2, the MACC Executive Committee report. You have a report in your packet. And I guess I'll just summarize that. Or Sue, would you like to summarize that? There were several issues that we talked about, and she might have a little bit of update as we go through it. So.
Just, we are reviewing all of our computer needs and technology needs. We don't have a final proposal yet, but we're real close. But looking at how to keep us up to date and make sure that we can complete all of the work tasks on our work plan that you all have approved. Specifically on the land use analyses, we're going to have some additional needs there that we'll bring to you. Well, later in our agenda, we've got some updates for you on what's happening with the West Michigan Strategic Alliance. Just in general, I'll tell you that there's some renewed vigor there and focus, and I'm very pleased to see that happening. And there's 2 proposals. One that we want your action on your approval today with the Centers for Regional Excellence, looking at collaborating communities, our competitive communities. And then there will be another one coming soon, kind of a marriage of green infrastructure issues with brownfield program, and looking at economic valuation of both of those. The Office remodeling, that's another ongoing issue that I've been keeping you up to date, and we've been working on the outside, now it's time to come inside, and we should have a proposal on that too by our next meeting. The airport authority presentations we'll hear about in just a little while, and the watershed project as well. Those are the issues that we talked about.
Okay, is these typically, just to keep you abreast of what we're talking about, is there any questions on any of those? Otherwise, several of them we'll touch on later. Okay, and we'll move on to the nominations committee, and the committee report is recommending, in the packet anyway, you have a report. The nominating committee is recommending the following slate of officers for 2006. There's Chair Blaine Coates, Toon Champasic, Hannes Myers Jr., Judith Newham, and Bill Vanderbilt, all as vice chairs, and Sue Higgins as secretary treasurer. So, John, do you want to make a comment?
Just that this is the report of the nominating committee, and we're presenting these for your consideration and action. I was recalling that 55 years ago when I was at Purdue, freshmen wore a green beanie. And we have two freshmen on the board that find themselves very unique position. And in the case of Blaine Copes, we're suggesting that his beanie read Dean of Students. We're going to move you from the newly arrived to chairman of the board. So with that, I present the slate and ask that with every confidence that the experience is there to do the job well, that you support the complete proposal.
May I make a nominating speech? I am truly honored that I have the ability to serve on that. I truthfully believe this body is one that looks forward to the future of our greater metropolitan area. And I'm excited about being part of this group. And it will be difficult to follow in the footsteps of a very, very fine chair, Mr. Dykes. And I consider this an honor, and I'm excited about this.
So you're an advocate.
He's willing. Would we have a motion?
So
to
moved.
approve? Okay.
Support.
Okay, it's been moved and supported to approve the slate printed and put forth by the nominating committee. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Okay, that's been carried.
Just for your comfort level, Bob has agreed to chair one more meeting so that we can have a smooth transition. Blaine can have a little more.
That'd be very, thank you, Bob, I appreciate that.
And it's my pleasure. This is a good group. It's hard to believe that I won't be coming to these meetings, so, but we'll move on to transportation issues. Number 3, the Area Airport Authority Exploratory Committee Progress Report. Sue or Brad?
I'd be glad to, but Brad Slaw is here, Chair, and Brad, we'd love for you to give an update.
Okay, thank you. Once again, it's my privilege to be here, and I'm a group, and we're excited about the progress that the Airport Authority Exploratory Committee has made through all the presentations. First of all, just the number of presentations that we did over the last month has been astounding, if you looked at the list. And then follow-up presentations to make sure that people are at the municipalities to follow up and make sure that questions are answered and things are happening. Right now, 4 municipalities have signed on to the resolution of intent. Park Township, Holland Township, I'm sorry, only 3, and then Holland City, those 3. There are 2 meetings this week that we're looking forward to see what the vote happens. One would be Zeeland City, and the other would be Zeeland Township. So we're looking forward to see what kind of results come out of that. Several municipalities have said, no, we're not interested in this for one reason or another. Either they'd like further definition of what Highland City can do because of their charter restrictions, or just, really we're not interested at this point in time. So it looks like there is a good chance to move forward with the resolution of intent, and really it's the setting a vision for can an airport authority work and does it work for us as a community. And so we look forward to setting that vision, I think, with the communities that are signing on and trying to make that happen. And with that, I think probably if there's representatives from each of the townships that would like to just speak to where your township's at and what's going on, maybe that would be helpful to the group and the cities. So, I don't know, Sue, does that make sense, or does it not make sense?
Sure, I don't know what Allegan County has done, maybe we could start there?
Allegan County will be addressing the resolution on Thursday of this week. Again, we've talked about it twice now. It has been set aside for the moment to get some legal opinion and some other input. But it is on the agenda for Thursday, and I'm sure that we'll address it then.
Anyone else have comments? Lake Town, Fillmore, and Olive Township decided to wait until the vote of Holland City. How do you perceive that action? Is that like a no at this point, or is that a wait and see, Brad, or how?
I believe that from what the exploratory committee's recommendation is that we move forward. If we can gain enough mass to move forward, we would move forward under that resolution of intent, which is setting the vision for how would you run an airport authority if it was created. At that point in time, then the city of Holland, as well as every other municipality, would have a chance to sign on to that airport authority or to say, no, that doesn't really meet what we're looking for. So at this point in time, anybody that said, we'll wait for the city of Holland really is saying no to the resolution of intent, which is simply, how do we set the vision for the future?
Okay.
Gord, how did Ottawa County, what was their action?
Our action was based on encouraging the MACC Area Coordinating Council to continue further development, and that it was economic based. However, we did not contribute toward the formation of documents because our legal counsel stated that since there was no direct service related back to Ottawa County, it was illegal. And this really goes back to a number of prior issues we've had in the past, and we couldn't disagree with that, but we certainly encourage the economic development.
I know
As as Brad mentioned, it's on our order of business this evening.
for tonight.
Unless it's asked to be tabled, we would take action on it.
And Zeeland Township's tomorrow night.
Yes.
Right, okay.
Anyone else have any comments or really any questions for Brad? Yes.
I would just like to thank Gord personally in Ottawa County for using their positions as really a bully pulpit for the advocacy for the reality of the economic development piece that an expanded airport and airport authority governing board could bring to the county. Gord, I much appreciate it, and I know the rest of us do as well.
Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, Brad.
It was interesting this morning at Pete Hoekstra's annual breakfast meeting, Meet Pete, that there was a little bit of tension in the room. It was an extremely full room, over 500 people, I think. But Pete wasn't there. And so they had announced that he was in all-night session, still taking votes, and hopefully he'd get here, which he did. And one of the questions posed to him then was what was his view on the airport authority. And he gave a very strong support. He couldn't have been there without Tulip City Airport. One of the corporations used their plane to bring him here, but he couldn't have made it in time without Tulip City Airport. But he talked about the economic impact that it brings to the area. So just thought I'd share that with you.
And I think as a final point, thanks to really all the units of government for taking time to consider the issue, and I'm sure it will continue to be watched. And really thanks to the people that have spent a lot of time and continue to spend time and will continue to spend time on development of an airport authority and in the discussion and all the meetings. And I think anytime we have good community understanding and education and bringing up an issue like that and putting energy into it, it's good for the community. So thank you to all of you who've served. And we'll move. Okay, yes, Randy.
Could I find out what Lake Township's view is on this?
I think your view was made pretty clear by the action they took in passing the resolution to wait until Holland took its action and not to expend funds in the meantime until we knew what was going to result from the whole effort.
Now, isn't it true if an entity doesn't vote on this by the 31st, they're out?
They're out of development of the charter. Is that correct, or Brad?
Yeah, I think the 31st was an imposed date that we gave as an exploratory committee. So is it a hard and fast date of, let's just say that Zealand Township, as an example, said tonight or tomorrow night, you know what, we have these 3 questions we need answers for, and we didn't get them. So we need until our first meeting in January, which is January 3 or whatever the date is. I believe that would still be viable from looking at and being part of the formation document. So it was a date that the Airport Exploratory Committee had put in place. What we do need to do is, when we get the votes cast from every community, whether they're in or out, we'll move forward with that drafting of documents.
But the vote to see where the residents of the city of Holland stand will be to approve a final document, is that correct?
That was our intent as the exploratory committee, is that there would not be a need for any community to bring a question to their voters about whether they were willing to spend funds, millage funds, on the airport authority itself. That doesn't happen until after you draft documents to understand what you might be approving. You can't approve something without understanding what you were approving. So that really there would be no reason for the city of Holland to bring that to their voters until after they understand what it is they're truly bringing to the voters.
So from the township perspectives, then, it was more an issue of the funds, the expenditure of those funds to be involved in that, or was it a lesson? You just didn't feel it was worth the time?
I'm sorry, I don't have somebody to be able to- It was a matter of not having answers to some of the issues and not having received them, or at least the member who participated in the study group had not been receiving them along the line. And we didn't feel that they were likely to be forthcoming.
Okay.
Now, I'd like
And there was
something,
one small step after another, and, I'm sorry?
I'd like something else clarified. The information I got at commission meeting on Thursday was that if an entity isn't worth, the property tax values isn't worth as much as the city of Holland, they also can't be in on this. Did I read that right?
No.
No.
It was a combination of all of the other units of government besides the city of Holland.
The combination?
Yeah, it's not any one unit of government.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any other questions or comments? Yes.
I'd like to ask Brad to clarify. Brad, let's get to the bottom line. As we prepare to take the next step, and that is to work collaboratively to create the actual documents, will all the units in the MACC around the table here at this meeting have an opportunity to once again review those documents and then decide whether or not they want to be part of an authority?
Oh, absolutely. Our goal would be to to draft the documents, and when we're all done, we would bring it back to the counties I understand that there's issues with the county thing from a legal standpoint, but we bring it back to the counties, we bring it back to every municipality to say, now you have a chance to be in or out of the authority, and that may be a single time, or it may be multiple times, because once the authority is formed, we're looking at how do you get in, how do you get out, what's the cost, all those things will be part of that. So yes, there would be multiple times to get in, everybody will get a chance to see it and move forward with it if they want to at that point in time.
I think that's an important clarification. There may be 3 or 4 or even 5 units who proceed through the next step, but when that is done, you're indicating we all, once again, have an opportunity to review and decide.
And the airport authority at that point in time, you know, the city of Holland may say, you know what, the way that this got drafted is just not, it's not beneficial for the whole community for us to have an airport authority. It could be that simple.
And that is conceivable.
Right. Yep.
Any other questions or comments?
I would think also that you can all expect that progress reports will be made here. So as we get together, you will have at least that venue of hearing step by step what's happening with the formation committee or whatever that committee ends up being called.
Okay, then we'll move on to 3B, comments on MDOT's FY06 to 10 5-year plan. Steve.
That's right. Included in your agenda pack was some excerpts from this plan. I just included the table of contents to give you a sense of the scope and breadth of the document. Otherwise, the remaining excerpts are just information directly related to projects in the MACC area. I do want to say, since we're down in the southwest region of MDOT, you don't see any items from the southwest region in your packet, and that is due to the fact there are no projects scheduled for the southwest region for the MACC area. So that wasn't an oversight, it's just that there isn't anything from the southwest region going on in the MACC area but during the time period covered by this plan, which will come back as an issue that the technical committee took up in one regard, and I'll return to that in just a moment. Certainly, if you had a chance to take a look at the cover memo, there was a table there summarizing the MACC area projects that were included in the plan. There shouldn't have been any surprises there. All those are occurring within the time of our current TIP. So all those projects were in the TIP. So certainly there are no surprises there. I want to direct your attention to the bottom of the memo and highlight for you the comments made by the technical committee in their review. They felt that there were a few omissions to the plan, and I would like to just briefly mention those. They're numbered 1, 2, 3 there at the bottom of the memo. First of all, capacity improvements on US 31 in the James Street area. It was noted that this is an area of recurring congestion, particularly in the afternoon peak hour, and the committee was disappointed to see that there was no mention of capacity improvements there. In the excerpts, there is a portion of the plan that talks about expanding the system. Within that, there is mention of US 31 to 7.2 million in high priority project funding that it was made available through the safety loop, and that the department intends to match that and move forward with something they call as being priority segments of the project, and to complete the final environmental impact statement. So certainly there is mention, and it is included in the plan to work on the US 31 project, but there was nothing talking about congestion improvements on that portion of the US 31. Secondly, M40 196 interchange, another facility that operates poorly during the peak hour, and unfortunately there was nothing in there either for studying or improving that. We thought that needed to be pointed out to the department. And then lastly, doing some pavement reconstruction on Chicago Drive east of Zeeland from Main Street to 48th Avenue. That third item is an issue that we've been raising in the last few reviews, and we're certainly hopeful, since this is a document looking out 5 years, if you ever have an occasion to drive that and think about 5 more years without any reconstruction, the department, in their defense, certainly has been involved in a number of different areas, one being Chicago Drive, another being US 31, where they have gone in, done some what's called capital preventive maintenance, where they saw out the joints and replace those. So they're working to extend the life of the pavement. I think we should be quick to note that it's not like these facilities have been abandoned. But the technical committee felt that within the length of the time covered by this plan, they should have been mentioned. Just a final comment, and I'll certainly take any questions. Comments were due to the department last Friday, so staff on the technical committee's recommendations had sent in those comments, so I'll be seeking action from this group endorsing those and then adding any additional comments that you all might have, but we certainly wanted to get something official on the record before the official due date.
Okay, does everyone understand what's being presented? And so, so what you need then is a motion to approve the recommendations and as presented and as also promoted by the technical advisory committee.
And if there are any additional comments you want staff to forward.
Support. Okay, it's been moved and supported to approve the recommendations of the technical advisory committee and approve what's been submitted. Any discussion?
One quick observation, Steve, thank you for highlighting that M40-196 corridor. You're absolutely right, it's only at peak time, but that exit ramp, especially early in the morning when you've got cars sitting out there on the freeway along the shoulder, that's not good, and that has got to be changed. Have we talked with business and industry there in the industrial area to see if they can do anything as far as maybe playing with their hours of start and stop? Is that a way that maybe we can, in the short term, address some of that?
That was a conversation that happened about 7 or 8 years ago, and a couple of the larger employers did make some response to that, but we haven't had that conversation in, say, the last 3 or 4 years, certainly.
Well, we're actually gaining jobs in that area, and I would think it's only going to get worse and not better. The Tierra project is only going to bring more people to that freeway.
And there's residential development that's going to
That's
generate
true,
more traffic.
and that's good for us, but thanks for keeping that on the agenda.
Okay, motion on the floor. Any other comments? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Okay, that motion has been approved. Thank you. Then we'll go to C, fiscal year 2007, call for safety projects. Steve?
Yeah, just want to make you aware that the Michigan Department of Transportation has issued their call for projects for federal safety program funds for the fiscal year 2007. I think the big news here is, and I think this is a reflection of the increased funding levels we're seeing in safety loop, the department increased the maximum federal award that's going to, federal amount that will be awarded under this program to $240,000. It's been at $200,000 for a number of years, so that was good news to see. Other than that, the program looks very similar to what we've seen in previous years, similar types of projects that are eligible for funding, guardrail, replacement, or installation, intersection improvements, the addition of turn lanes to help capacity and help safety, signalization, either to signalize an intersection or to upgrade to a smart signal or something of that nature. And so the types of projects are quite similar. Once again, MDOT is requiring any projects coming from an MPO area to go through a ranking or prioritization within the MPO before they're forwarded to the department. The deadline, the department's deadline is March 1st. So to accommodate that and to give the entities that are awarded the top rankings within the MACC, I just wanted to let you know what our schedule is going to be. We're asking for projects to be submitted to staff in the first week of January. That's not a real heavy load. I just want to know what's the name, the limits, the proposed work, how much funding you're asking for, and then other information that the department uses for ranking projects. I like to see as much as is available, crash history, the potential for crash history, are there horizontal or vertical curve problems, those types of pieces of information. We'll get that in, the technical committee will take a look at them at their January meeting. My plan is to have a recommendation for your consideration next month. And that will give the implementing agencies then the month of February to fill out their applications and get them into the department. Any questions regarding where we're headed with the safety call?
Okay, nothing, you can proceed to 10, fiscal year 2005, a listing of obligated projects.
As the MACC is required annually to submit a list of projects that have been obligated in the previous fiscal year, and at your place setting, I put out the 2005 program, and certainly this list represents about $5.5 million in federal aid that was implemented in fiscal year 2005. So once again, we had a very successful implementation of the federal aid program. This particular year tended to be dominated by a couple of large projects that are listed in the first page there. The top entry is River Avenue, a large project, a large amount of federal aid committed by the MACC to help get that taken care of. And then the bottom project on that first page, M40, was really the big kahuna this year. And certainly in reviewing this list, transit is in there. It's a good multimodal list. There's roadway, there's a little bit of non-motorized transit in here as well. And I'd be happy to answer any questions you have regarding these projects, but I would certainly just want to express a lot of gratitude and a big thank you to all our implementing agencies, whether at the state level or at the local level, for getting the federal aid program out so successfully this year.
Okay, it's good to see that money coming into the area and improving things. Anyone have any comments or questions?